Hey, this is Sushi.
And Ashley.
And this is
We Should Pod That.
Episode 10.
10, guys.
Wow.
We should watch that with Ashley and Sushi. Feel the vibes, it's a night so lush.
All right. So, episode 10, starting off strong with some movies and stuff. We're going to be talking about Good Fortune and Deathstalker. And then for TV, we've got The Chair Company and the final episode of the season for The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. And what do we have over in wrestling, Sush?
We just got recaps for the most recent episodes of SmackDown on the 17th and Raw this past Monday on the 20th. And I got some brief highlights for AEW Wrestle Dream from the 18th.
Ooh, dreamy. Sounds good. Excellent. So let's get into it. Our first movie for today is Good Fortune. So as a devout Keanu fan, I've been looking forward to this movie, and I got to say, I think it's one of his best performances in years.
Hell yeah.
So this movie is created by comedian and actor Aziz Ansari, who takes the reins here as a writer-director for his first feature film, with longtime collaborator Seth Rogen on board as a producer and co-star, together with Keanu and Keke Palmer. And together, they leaned on class comedy movies from the 1930s and 40s as an inspo for this body swap fantasy about an angel, a gig worker, and a tech mogul. So IMDb says it's a well-meaning but inept angel named Gabriel meddles in the lives of a struggling gig worker and a wealthy venture capitalist. And this movie was so delightful.
Yeah.
This is another one that we've seen the trailer for, I want to say hundreds of times, but I'm going to say at least a couple dozen, I feel
Right,
like.
but this trailer doesn't annoy me.
No.
It didn't annoy me in the same way that Roofman did for the trailer. I think mostly because there wasn't too much that was annoying about this movie that they could have picked out to
great.
highlight. Yeah.
And one of the things I love about it is it's very funny, but it's also a little grim. So we've got Aziz's character in a really bad position financially, as is his love interest, played by Keke Palmer. And they're like really real about how hard it is to be poor, how hard it is to be struggling and working and not making ends meet. But they managed to tell that story while it's hilarious. I think this had one of the highest frequencies of jokes of movies that we've seen recently. I mean, obviously, The Naked Gun takes the cake this year, but this one's up there. And the acting was great. Keanu is perfect for this role of a naive, underachieving, sweet angel. He's a sweet baby angel. He's discovering chewing for the first time. He's discovering the joys of tacos and dancing. And he's trying so hard to help people out, but he just doesn't know what's up. He's great. Seth Rogen's really funny. He plays a character who you could easily just think is a jackass because he's sort of the rich guy, privileged guy. But he does a great job, too. I think the acting was great across the board, and the music was really excellent, really unique. It was sort of a combo of our musical interests. Like, it's got really interesting new wave stuff and then a lot of dance music.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can't think of a negative thing to say about it. What do you think, Sush?
Yeah, I was pretty much in line with what you said. It was great to see Keanu in another comedic role. Sometimes we'll see him in cameos being kind of outlandish, doing characters that he doesn't really play. But in this one, I feel like it lines up, more with the innocent types of characters he plays, like Ted. Like a lovable idiot kind of character. So I thought he was great for this. He made the character really believable and funny. and likable, I think is the best part. Because even though he's kind of messing up, you're still kind of pretty understanding about it, I think.
Right.
It was hilarious how there were like multiple people who commented on how hot he was. They'd be like, oh, who's that like really tall guy? He's really hot. I think at least like 2 or 3 times it was mentioned. And so I think it's probably just an inside joke that the writer director wanted to put into it. But I think it suited it really well. I think that would be something that Aziz would totally put into one of his movies. So it made a lot of sense. Keke Palmer and Aziz did a great job too. Some really great down-to-earth characters who are also really funny, but they also, have like very serious sides. And like this movie definitely addresses some things that I think a lot of people in the world are going through right now. Difficulty and getting by and trying to make ends meet. So
yeah. Oh, and Felipe.
Oh, right.
Oh my gosh. Keanu gets a job at a restaurant and he becomes friends with one of his coworkers, Felipe. I don't think he's probably an actor. I think he might just be a real guy. Yeah. But he's just so kind and is just like...
Yeah, they have a sweet moment together.
Yeah, really nice stuff. I did think about the recent controversy with Aziz a little bit while watching it. He went to the Riyadh Comedy Festival.
Oh, right.
And he was one of the ones that I was surprised by because it doesn't seem to jive with where he is.
Yeah.
Politically, that he was taking money from the Saudi family who've done a lot of atrocities. And it's interesting because what I was thinking of watching it was like, privilege got to him too.
Yeah.
He's making a movie about
privilege,
poverty and privilege. And I think he seemed pretty surprised by the reaction in things I've seen. And I'm like, that's someone who just let their life and their sort of get ahead of themselves. Didn't think the way more down to earth people would be. But yeah. So I really loved it. Heading into the scoring here, it's a double 4 for me. 4 for enjoyment, 4 for quality. I think it's really, I thought it was fantastic. I really did. The only thing I would ding it on is really just, I think the chemistry between Keke and Aziz seemed a little more friend-like than romantic, but that's about it. And both performers were still great. What'd you think, Sush?
I gave it a 4 for enjoyment and a 3.5 for quality. I really enjoyed this movie, and this is probably the highest rating I give like any movie where it's not some crazy standout.
Yeah.
But it was definitely up there, and I think, it wants to be an accessible movie for everybody. But I also think that's important too, especially with a movie like this that touches on privilege and shows both sides. So I think it's important that it was approachable. So I think that went into my quality score, which for me is like a bit higher. I gave it a 3.5. Like I said, I don't think it was like necessarily bad quality. As I always mention, like 3 is the middle ground for me. And I think that there are definitely some things that could have been a bit better. I don't really know how they came up with the idea for like the angels and all this stuff. And some of the concepts were like, I think they were purposely like shoddy, but there's some other aspects of it that I think could have used some improvement. Like I think some of the relationships could have been fleshed out a little bit better, like given more, time to develop. I think this movie was a bit on the shorter side, right? It's probably like an hour and a half or something.
Yeah, maybe even under.
Yeah, it's like an hour and 37 minutes now that I'm looking at the details. So yeah, I think this movie could have easily taken a few more minutes to kind of flesh out a few more of these relationships, or give us a little bit more backstory on how the angels, like how the hierarchy and everything works with them. That would have been cool.
Excellent. All right. So our next movie is Deathstalker, or if you look it up, put in Deathstalker 2025, because there was a 1983 movie. And holy shit, guys. So me and Sushi love weird movies. And we were so pumped to see this because it's made by one of the weirdest directors out there right now. And it stars basically what I would consider an action movie icon, although he's not as well known. So basically, Steven Kostanski, who directed Psycho Gorman and Frankie Frico, two of our favorites, directed this 2025 reinvention of the cult 80s movies, actually, Deathstalker. And it stars Daniel Bernhardt, who is... Okay, his premiere he was in Bloodsport 2, and he has been a henchman or a main baddie in probably the majority of action movies that have come, it feels like, over the last 20 years. He is extremely prolific.
Definitely anything that has a franchise he's been in, probably.
Oh, my God, yeah. And he's tight with the 8711 guys who did the John Wick movies. I think, is he in more than one John Wick? Well, I know he's in the first one. So he stars in this. Slash is a producer. And basically was born from a love of VHS-era fantasy, like Swords and Sandals movie. Then there's monsters, gore, and a lot of humor. IMDb gives the synopsis as a powerful swordsman known as Deathstalker recovers a cursed amulet from a corpse-strewn battlefield. Marked by dark magic and hunted by monstrous assassins, he must face the rising evil and break the curse. That's a pretty good synopsis.
Yeah,
IMDb.
it is.
But it doesn't fully give you a sense for how weird this movie is.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like it's straight out of the 80s. I actually saw an interview with the director where he said, if you're going for a low-budget genre aesthetic, all you have to do is have a low-budget genre movie. He limits the budget on purpose. He's involved in, all aspects of the filmmaking. There are these cool red, sort of muscular, demonic creatures at one point. And
oh, yeah, they look cool.
He made those costumes himself. And it's got all these weird puppets. I was in love with the frogs. Oh, yeah, we've also got Patton Oswalt playing some sort of a strange...
little gremlin guy. Right?
Yeah, gremlin guy. But I think it's a movie that's going to shock and delight you if you like the weird stuff. Like, we saw it, there were some nerdy teenagers behind us and a couple that looked kind of metal who was also the audience. And I thought, this is the perfect audience for this. It's fun to see with a crowd or with friends if you can. I mean, the visuals are beautiful. It's very funny. There's a lot of deadpan modern language used. At one point, Deathstalker says something about someone sucking,
Oh, yeah.
Or
I love it.
things like that. And it just is an experience. It's an experience, guys. I love it. Serge, tell us what you think.
Man, I love this movie. I remember how excited I was when I saw the trailer for it. Oh. And I about lost it because it kind of checks all the boxes for me. It's an action movie. That's a check. It looks nuts. It's very extreme and over the top.
Oh,
That's another check. It's weird in a lot of ways. It's kind of hard to explain until you see it, but I think it's mostly in the area of the practical effects type stuff and the makeup. It looks kind of, I think the best way to put it is claymation
yeah.
But it looks a lot more wet.
It is a wet movie.
It's wet claymation.
Yes.
But anyway, it's slimy claymation. But anyway,
a little nasty,
Yeah,
in a good way.
Yeah, mostly why I loved it is because I grew up on a lot of 80s action movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger is definitely one of my favorite action movie stars of all time. Conan was huge for me. Both the movie, the first movie, I mean both of them, but more the first movie, obviously, and then the cartoon. That was I actually watched that. I don't know if everybody knows that there was a Conan cartoon, but
I didn't.
I watched that religiously while I was on. So yeah, I really was looking forward to seeing this movie. I mean, it was pretty much as good as I thought it was going to be, which is up there. The big thing for me is just Daniel Bernhardt. He's obviously this barbarian type character, but the way that he talks, like I think you mentioned before, it's just like somebody who's talking in modern times. So he's just like, things suck. And he's just like, I feel like he actually kind of complains a bit for a barbarian.
Yeah.
If you watch those movies back in the day, those barbarian movies, those guys never had anything to complain about. They were always gung-ho, like they were ready for a challenge. But yeah, there's definitely moments where Daniel Bernhardt's character is just kind of like, come on, which I think is hilarious. So, it's great. The sword is amazing. You see it in the trailer, but to see it.
The quadruple sword.
Yes. But the sword is even cooler in the movie somehow, mostly because of how it's being used. I can't spoil it, but I'll just leave it at that. Oh, man. I'm just going to go into my rating because I don't really have much else to say other than this is awesome. And I feel like it's just one of those movies where it's hard to really like name everything because there's just so much going on. Like even things in the background. I think if I want to kind of compare this to a recent movie that we've seen, I'd probably put it in the same ballpark as Toxic Avenger.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, because it's one of those gross looking movies, either fantasy, horror, sci-fi, where there's like a main character that's kind of out there and a lot of crazy stuff also happens in the movie. But more importantly, there's stuff that happens in the background in both of these movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely one of the things that's like paralleled across the two of them. So for enjoyment, I gave this a 4. I would have actually given it higher, but it's almost like the trailer was it set my expectations way too high. So I'll even admit that. But for enjoyment, I gave it a 4. For quality, I gave it a 4.5. Mostly because of finding out that the director intentionally limited the budget for this to get that look out of it. So, I mean, they aim for what they're looking for. My quality ratings are usually based on perceived quality, but, this is obviously a case where they purposely made a decision and it worked in their favor.
Yeah.
So I give it a 4.5 for quality.
Hell yeah. So I actually did a 4.5 for enjoyment. So this is the highest since we started the pod. Gosh, I'm thinking back of the movies this year. I'm not sure if I could pick out my top 5 or whatever, but this would be up there. And definitely for a movie-going experience, it was so good. It was so good, guys. And it's so cool to see. I am always excited to see Daniel Bernhardt, and he got to star in this, and they just offered it to him. He didn't have to audition.
Oh, he's so good in it too.
I felt excited about that because I'm a nerd about stunts and action movies, and this guy just delivers all the time. So I loved it, and I gave it a 4 for quality. The only reason I didn't give it higher is just because I was thinking of the director's other movies, and I would put Psycho Gorman at 4.5. And I think this one's not as out there. It's pretty out there, but yeah. So a minimal difference, though, guys. You really got to see this and see it with your friends. Take your intoxicant, of choice within reason. Have a good snack. It's a great time. All right, so shifting gears.
Not really, because this is just as crazy.
Oh, you're right. We're going from like insane to like frantic.
Yeah.
So we've got The Chair Company, episode 2, and it's called New Blood. There's 5 Rons now, which is a great episode title. So I'm just going to blast through, give you guys a rundown on what happens in this episode, and then we'll discuss it. So the episode starts with Barb, who's Ron's wife, waking up in bed, realizing he isn't there. She hears a noise, she panics, and she texts him, OMG, come home now. Cut to Ron, who's just jogging and, of course, thinking about chairs. He sees the text, freaks out, and sprints home. to discover it's not something ominous and chair-related. It's just their daughter, Natalie, showed up. And it turns out she and her partner, Tara, want to... It's so stupid.
Oh, my God.
They want to get married in a haunted barn. And Barb is horrified. They've already paid for a venue, too, by the way.
Yeah.
He's kind of a softie. He thinks it's weird, but wants to please his kids. So he's a little more warmed up to the idea. And Natalie asks him to convince Tara's dad to get on board with the haunted barn because, quote, you're so good at talking to people, which seems like a shock for any character played by Tim Robinson.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
Right.
Then Barb notices a cut on Ron's head from the pipe attack in the last episode. And he makes up some weird excuse about a coworker having a mini hockey stick.
Why a mini hockey stick?
I don't know, but it doesn't add up.
Is this like a reference to Little Hammers from Round Ball Rock?
His famous SNL sketch.
The SNL sketch, Round Ball Rock, where they got tiny hammers. And
Oh, I would love that.
oh, man.
Oh, man. So the next day, Ron finds the pipe under his car. And, he's just basically all day at work doing chair research. He ends up ordering a fingerprinting kit that costs $180 for same-day delivery. And he starts Googling the shirt that his attacker wore. And he finds out that it's sold at a place called Tamblay's, which is conveniently somewhat close to the TV taping that he's doing the following day. Then his boss comes in, interrupts his research, and tells him that he has to take Jamie, who's this kind of peppy, weird coworker, because she wants to make sure everything goes smoothly for the TV interview that's going to be promoting the mall that they're opening. And Jamie wants to carpool with him because she's a bad driver, but Ron refuses because he's going to try to go to the shirt store on the way to the interview. Now, on the drive, Ron calls Tara's dad, who only agrees to dinner after learning that Ron's dog has died because he said his dog was too jumpy. You'll find that this is an episode where the side characters are insane. And Tim Robinson's character is sort of normal-ish.
Yes.
Somewhat. So meanwhile, Ron is trying to ditch Jamie, his coworker, in traffic, and she almost gets pancaked by a truck because he runs through a yellow light. She's trying to rush through and a car comes up. She is just sitting in her car screaming after the incident. And he just pretends he doesn't see it and drives on to the shirt store.
Oh, man.
Inside the store, he meets truly an insane person. The worker there is very odd. And I don't know if you saw, Sush, I sent you earlier. Apparently, it was his first acting job, and that checks out.
Yeah.
So anyway, he inspects the attacker's shirt, and he notices, there's some white dust on the back of it, as if they were lying on some sort of white substance. And wow, these buttons are really stretched out. And he gets a basketball out from under the counter, puts it underneath the shirt, and then stretches the shirt over it and declares that the shirt is at its limit. Then he sort of implies that he knows a customer who is at his limit and might be the one who had the shirt. So Ron's intrigued, and he ropes Ron into buying a membership for member events related to the shirt store. And clearly he just is trying to pocket the commission. And after he pays, Ron realizes that it was kind of a scam and he storms out. Then he gets to this TV taping, which is at the site of the new mall they're going to build. He gets there to see Jamie sobbing hysterically into the arms of the reporter who's about to interview him. It's really weird. She's like, I could have died. You didn't see me. You didn't see me. And eventually he gets her out of the way. She stands behind the camera and is continuing to freak out while he does his interview. So he finishes the interview, goes home, is excited to get his Amazon package with this fingerprinting kit. And it turns out it was actually just a toy. One of the things that came with it was a fedora that he says is solid plastic.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't have like the part where your head would go in, like hollowed out. It's
bizarre. So his son comes in and is sort of like casually talking with him. And then Ron says, I got you this today, and gives him the fedora. And his son, who seems like such a nice kid, just says, oh, yeah, I think I read about these. Love you, Dad. Good night. Okay, so then he goes back to doing his chair research, and he sees an HR email pop up about the upskirt incident from last episode. So the next day he goes into work, he meets with the HR lady, and she's like, we know it's not your fault, but then she like grills him really hard, and then she makes him watch this bizarre Peeping Tom training video.
Right. Well, here, before you continue, I just thought it was hilarious that she grilled him that hard and then basically just tells him the consequences that he has to watch a Peeping Tom video.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
Oh,
so
man.
in this Peeping Tom video, he gets an idea because he sees one of the Peeping Toms is lying on his belly on the ground, hiding behind some bushes. So as soon as he's done watching the crazy video, he goes outside, checks the bushes outside of work, and finds that there's some sort of white stones on the ground, tying back to the white powder on the shirt. And he sees a takeout box filled with cigarettes. Used cigarettes, not fresh cigarettes.
Yeah.
Just in case anyone was wondering. Then he thinks, okay, I'm going to find out where this restaurant is. So he goes to the restaurant that is on the box, and it's the craziest restaurant I've seen in my life. There is so much commotion happening in this restaurant. It's like all the customers are insane. The kitchen's insane. There's a waitress who's overworked, and he keeps asking her about this guy. And eventually she's just like, go away. And she calls security. Guess what? The security guy is his friggin' attacker.
Yeah.
So he walks out casually, and then they get into a whole fight. There's some trash cans involved, and he finally finds out that the guy was hired by someone he doesn't know to scare the shit out of Ron. That's all he knows. And then the guy's like, well, I could help you if you pay me. And so he's like, okay. So he and the guy go and get burner phones. And then he's like, I'm Mike Santini. So that's Mike Santini, guys. So the next day, Mike and Ron end up setting out to find this person that Mike has found that's connected to Tekka. And while they're on the way, Ron realizes they don't have the same idea of what's going to go down. Because Mike says, we'll get there and we'll ambush him. And then he says, grab that bag. And there's a grocery store plastic bag with a gun in it.
Oh, damn.
Ron freaks out. He's like, no. I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. And that's not what I want. I just want to talk to him. And he gets out of the car. Okay, so all that's happened. He goes back to his house and has a lovely dinner party. So he's there with his wife, his daughter, Tara, and her parents. And he does take aside Tara's dad. They go outside and have kind of a real heartfelt moment. It turns out Ron is good at talking to people. And he convinces Tara's dad to allow the haunted barn wedding to go about with this speech about family that makes the dad cry. And it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But then he goes inside. He sort of is goofing around with his daughter. He looks over at his son, and his son has taken the plastic hat and
oh yeah,
poked a hole through it and put it on his
made it
backpack.
a keychain or something.
Yeah, and it's like a really sweet moment. He's just enjoying life, and then he gets a text from an unknown number that says, "No way out." And then there's another ping, and he looks, and it's a photo of Ron at the dinner party, and the photo is taken like moments earlier. So he looks around, he's panicked, and his family gets out a Twister, and then the episode ends. So yeah, it was wild. I mean, Sushi, what did you think of this week?
Okay, I'm going to go right into it by bringing up a point that you kind of brought up. And I also posted about this earlier on social media. Crazy theory. The Chair Company is just a show that was created and finally make Tim Robinson seem, quote, normal. Everyone else in the universe of the show is crazy to varying degrees, from the guy who threatens him to stop looking into Tekka to his wife who barely reacts to him flipping out and telling her to shut up multiple times over just wanting to surprise his daughter with his TV appearance, to his daughter who wants a haunted barn wedding, to his coworker who can't stop crying about the driving situation and is so adamant about following him instead of going by herself, like she can't do it for some reason. Man. Yeah, it makes his character seem normal in comparison. I mean, I think the weirdest thing that he's doing is looking into this chair company, but like everybody else is just like legit weird.
It's almost like an alternate reality where everyone's insane.
Yeah.
But one of the things I love is the way they balance that feeling you have where you're like, am I overreacting? And then you're like, no, I'm not.
No.
That's sort of what happens, because there are moments where at both episodes so far, where he seems to be like, you know what? Life's good. I give up on the chair. And then something insane happens and he's like, oh shit, no, there is a chair conspiracy.
Yeah, but the thing is, when that thing happens, it's usually not even his fault. It's just the people around him are crazy. So that's what I'm starting to think. Like, he's normal and everybody else is crazy because they got all these weird hangups and like things that they need from him. And he's just trying to figure out why this chair just disintegrated under his ass when he sat on it. I mean, I feel like sometimes I spiral into these situations too. So I totally understand that aspect of it. But I can't understand like being yelled at and like having zero reaction to it, or wanting to have a wedding at a haunted barn, or I don't know, like
it's wild.
Yeah, I was just going to say I love this show, and it just gets weirder and weirder. And how crazy can this get? But that picture was literally taken seconds. It must have been seconds before.
Yes.
Because he was sitting in the same chair that it was taken in.
Yeah.
What the hell? So it's like, I'm not going crazy. These people in the show are crazy. And Tim Robinson, God damn it, your character is not crazy in this show.
Oh, it was so good.
I don't know who the hell's hiding out in your closet taking pictures of you over like trying to look into a chair company. They must really have something to hide.
Yeah. I just hope the bubble guy is back next week, or the wheelbarrow guy.
I don't know. What? I don't care if any of these people are returned because I feel like they're just going to give us more weird people, and it's not going to matter anyway.
Ooh, I love it. Also, one of my favorite moments, when he has the confrontation with Mike Santini at first, Santini's like yelling at him, and then he just starts screaming at the top of his like,
right.
And
just
then
stop Santini from like running away. Yeah, that's what it was. Know.
And then Santini stops, and you think he's had a heart attack. And then he just gets up and runs away.
Wait, no, what was he saying? Like my breathing machine or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, I need my breathing machine.
It was, yeah, it's truly strange.
Man.
Love it.
And then the other part, the Mike Santini that was crazy was whatever the hell he was listening to in his car.
Oh my God.
It's
yes.
like, as somebody who grew up listening to Jerky Boys, that was way crazier than Jerky Boys.
They're all like, my sticky vagina. It's dudes. Like dudes being
It's
like,
like two dudes going back and forth.
Like, it's crazy.
And it's hilarious because they even go through the whole back and forth with Ron asking, what the hell is this? Like, are these pranks? They're like, no, it's just two guys in a room together saying this stuff to each other.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Well, I guess we have to go to a show that's not as funny now. you
Yeah.
know? So we're going to take a step into the world of The Walking Dead with Daryl Dixon, the final episode of season 3, Solas del Mar. So this week we open on the beach with a hooded dude leaving offerings at a statue. It's kind of random stuff like Rubik's Cubes. He pulls back his hood and it turns out it's the eye patch guy from the French season. Meanwhile, Carol and her ship captain Buddy and Roberto are at the beach with the boat getting ready for their journey. And they start talking about how Antonio's been gone for a long time. And that's because he is being interrogated by Fede, who has him tied up and is trying to find out where Daryl is. Then we cut to Daryl and Paz. They're scouting the town where El Alcazar is, and they find out that they're recruiting people to work at some kind of big event. Back on the beach, Carol kind of talks to Roberto and really pushes him to have empathy for his dad because he had been through a lot and it's not all his fault what happened to their mother. Then, hey, there's a reunion. Justina and Daryl get back to the boat. Justina and Roberto are reunited, and Carol realizes she has to go back to town to find Antonio. We also check in on Elena, who's Paz's ex-lover and the future queen-to-be. She vents about being trapped, and she's really not sure what to do with her life. Then Daryl and Paz, it's so cool. They managed to sneak into the castle disguised as workers, which works out pretty well because they ask all the workers to wear masks so that the people of high importance at this event don't have to make eye contact with them. So then we cut back to the town, and Fede's mom, she basically comes up to him and warns him about the rumors about him. But Fede doubles down and he gives this speech blaming the Americans, calling Antonio a traitor, taking no responsibility for the issues with his leadership or for sending Justina off. And they decide they're going to drag Antonio out as an example. They bring him out. There's this elaborate setup. Carol tries to intervene. Meanwhile, we're at the fancy party. They have marionette zombies. So they hooked up the zombies, dressed them up like it's the French Revolution, and they actually have people operating them like they're real marionettes. The king is there. He announces that his son's going to take over leadership with his beautiful wife, Elena. Then Justina cleverly manages to slip a knife into her sleeve. Meanwhile, Carol busts in to rescue Antonio. There's chaos on the streets. It cuts back to the fancy party. So Daryl cuts the strings on the zombie marionettes and basically unleashes them on the guests. It's mayhem. It's amazing. Then Paz sneaks into Elena's chambers, and when she's there, she discovers something she didn't know, which is that Elena has a child. Turns out that Paz and Elena had been separated from each other, and Paz had been beaten by Elena's husband/boyfriend. She manages to convince her and the child to go with him. Justina, who's with Daryl, also confronts the guy who basically manipulated her to go there. She fights him. She nearly loses, and Daryl saves her, and they free also all of these rejected women. Because what happens is you win the lady raffle, you go to the town, and then they choose from that lady raffle who is going to then be chosen by these rich elites. So it's kind of like a two-tiered system. And the women who aren't picked by those rich men, they end up being rejected. They have to be slaves. So they manage to save all of them. And then they get back. Then you see Fede, meanwhile, has been humiliated by the shootout that happened earlier, humiliated by his mother. Then it cuts back again to the boat. Carol and Daryl are setting in for the journey. And then guess what? Fede sneaks on board. There's a gunfight, there's fire, there's explosions, and the ship blows up. So all of the work that they've done this season to get this boat up and running, to leave, all of it's just gone. In the distance, you see the eye patch guy watching, and then it closes with this really beautiful close-up of Carol and Daryl together, realizing that they have to completely change what they're going to be doing again. They have to rethink their strategy and what their path is going to be. So it was a good episode, I thought. Again, sort of like we were saying a couple episodes ago, it's hard to think of new ways to do zombie stuff after the show's been on for so long, but they really do it here. I loved the zombie marionettes. It's so cruel and perfect for the plot. It was great to see the women get away. It was great to see people get reunited. And of course, also it was devastating to see the boat go up in flames. So just like a lot of great drama, interesting stuff. What do you think of this episode?
This is definitely my favorite episode of the season. I think mostly because it kind of does everything right. And obviously there's an advantage to it being a season finale to where it's more normal to have payoff for some things that have been going on in the storyline. But aside from that, I thought it was great because the pacing really doesn't feel slow at any point. I know that that's one of my biggest complaints with The Walking Dead and the spin-off shows. There's moments where, you know, you could easily just fast forward through it.
Yeah.
And it's unnecessary for you to watch it. But I think every moment in this episode was used for something valuable, trying to wrap up everything that's going on in the town that they've been in, everything with Fede revealed to everybody else in town. That was like a huge payoff. Also, Elena dealing with the guy who attacked her years ago, and they cut to the shots that are like parallel. You know, they'll cut back.
Yeah,
to, like,
they do like some flashbacks.
Yeah. It was really cool that they cut to the flashback shots real quick, like when she was being knocked out. So it really gave you the sense that the same type of hopelessness was maybe about to take place. But then luckily, Elena acts and does something about it. It's great. All the mains pretty much make it through okay. But, you know, it wouldn't be a Walking Dead show if everything went great. There's only like one show where maybe that's happened, and it's that Rick and Michonne series that was made specifically for people who just wanted to be done with everything Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You know, like they wanted it wrapped up and they wanted a happy ending. And that show does really provide that because it's really strong for like one season, you know, but however many seasons we're going to do this Daryl Dixon show, I feel like it makes sense for them like amping certain things up. And I think that they're definitely doing a good job, both diving into what makes Daryl and like all the different progress he's making as a character and a human being and how Carol plays into that. Yeah, you know, it was a great episode, and also I'm just looking forward to see how the eye patch guy gets involved.
Me too.
Yeah, because the last time that they met, it seemed like they figured stuff out. So I have a feeling that he's going to be helpful rather than harmful. So yeah, I look forward to it, actually.
Awesome. Yay. Yeah, I really hope we have another season soon. I know it takes time, but there's a lot of interesting stuff here. And I really grew to love the people of the city that they were at. At first, I felt like I just wanted all Carol and Daryl and didn't want to know as much about the side characters. But they really fleshed them out so beautifully, and the acting is great. So I thought it was an awesome season.
Yeah, and I felt like it was good too, because there's been a lot of obviously very depressing or heartbreaking moments in The Walking Dead and the spin-off shows overall. But this finale was pretty good, and kind of at least making it a situation where it's like lives weren't lost. You know, people weren't lost, even though they're now not able to get back to America. At least they're all alive, and like they made it out okay.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. So that concludes what we watched this week. And then going into next week, we've got some interesting movies here. So we definitely want to see. Okay. I don't know that we want to see, but we are going to see Regretting You.
It looks so bad.
So we've been seeing the trailer for this movie, Regretting You, which looks very hammy. And it's by the same writer as that movie with Blake Lively that had all the controversy.
Yeah.
But we keep seeing the trailer and we thought it looked so cheesy. And then we found out that AMC is doing a special event where you can get a commemorative necklace. And we thought, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing that tomorrow. That'll be interesting. Yeah. Then the next one that I'm probably more excited than Sush to see is Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. I'm a very big Bruce Springsteen fan. I really love him, but I'm not necessarily a big biopic person.
You don't like that one dude either, right?
It's not that I don't like him. It's just that I like Bruce Springsteen so much that it's hard to think of who could be good enough to play him.
Yeah,
it's like
I'm pretty sure you don't think the Italian beef guy can do it.
Yeah. Exactly. But, we'll see. We've got Shelby Oaks as well, which is Chris Stuckman's movie. Chris Stuckman's someone...
Fellow review people.
Yeah, fellow review person. And he's been promoting it for so long, and it's finally coming out. So we're excited to see that. And then the last one I'm very excited to see, Eli Roth Presents Dream Eater, which is made by, my boss and a work friend's, one of his good friends. It's like an independent Canadian horror movie that Eli Roth picked up and got wide release for. Brooke tells me that his friend is naked in the movie several times. I don't know. So we're going to have some naked horror.
Okay.
I don't know what to expect, but I'm looking forward to it. And then for TV, we've got, obviously, The Chair Company. And then, now, Sush, I didn't check with you before putting these on here, but I know what I'm excited to watch this week is some more 911.
Yeah, we're going to be down the show, so we'll probably cover some of that stuff, because the season just started for the lead 911 show.
And the new one, Nashville
911.
Yeah, and we watched the first 2 episodes of the original 911, and it's nuts, guys.
Oh,
they're in space. So it's going to be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. Geostorm.
Yeah, there was a geostorm. Just like in the movie Geostorm.
Oh, my God.
I can't wait. I want to watch it right now. But instead, we shall go to something else I love to watch, wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
What do we have for today, Sush?
Well, for we're talking about, TV. SmackDown last Friday was in San Jose, California. Let's jump into promos and drama. The show kicks off with a recap of the events taking place from the men's crown jewel match to the end of last week's Raw. So, sure. I guess Cody had something to do with that match, but I don't know. Why are we spending all this time covering Raw events on SmackDown?
That's a very good point.
Yeah. But anyway, we get Nick Aldis in ring with a quick update to Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu's match set for that night. Now it's a number one contenders match for the undisputed WWE Championship. Soon after that, Cody enters the ring. I'm not sure how necessary this was, but he basically like reorients the audience by acknowledging, everything that happened at Crown Jewel and Seth's problems, but also going into like how he now needs to deal with SmackDown business and that he'll be ready for whoever wins the number one contender match later that night. Next, what we never seem to have to ask? What Solo and the MFTs are up to.
Oy.
Yeah, so Solo interrupts Rey Fenix as he's in the middle of a photo shoot, telling the cameraman to take his pictures immediately. Rey asks him to chill for a minute. They get into a confrontation and the MFTs jump in to rough him up for Solo. And we have some officials run backstage to break things up and help Phoenix out. Later on, backstage, Cody runs into Jacob Fatu, who basically tells him it's on once, he's done with Drew tonight. Cody responds that he hopes he's right. Side note, does WWE know what yay area actually implies? Hopefully parents in the audience don't.
Wait, do I not know?
It's about cocaine, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Is it the same as yayo?
Yes, exactly. That's what the.
Oh, I'm learning so much.
It's
See,
so
I'm
fun.
not like Travis Scott. I didn't invent getting fucked up, so I have to learn about these things.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I also thought it was funny that he said "Ghost Ride the Whip." Like, do people even still say that? But yeah, we get a video segment with Aleister Black and Zelina Vega basically claiming that them working together was planned. Sure. But yeah, they want people to know they're together, they're creepy, and they're scheming or something. We get a replay of the MFTs interrupting Sammy and Shinsuke's match from last week to basically provide the announcers with an opportunity to remind us how badass the MFTs are. After that, we cut backstage to Nick Aldis talking to The Miz. Sammy comes in and interrupts, complaining to him about how there's a lack of a U.S. Championship Open Challenge match that night and how much it means to him and like the opportunity means to like the locker room. But eventually he just decides to go in ring and have the match anyway. Can he really do that? I don't know. But yeah, Sammy takes off. But The Miz witnesses all this and he seems to think there might be an opportunity in it for him. We get a video recap of the women's Crown Jewel match, courtesy of Arby's new sponsored segment, Raising the Stakes.
That was bizarre. Yeah.
Ultimately, it leads to a backstage interview with Tiffy where she attempts to brush off her loss and perform a similar reorienting like Cody did earlier, but this time for the women's division. She gets cut off by Kiana James, who's all greased up for no reason.
It's been a greasy week in wrestling.
Oh my God. Well, she insults Tiffy for her Crown Jewel loss while also bragging about how she only offers her services to high value investments like Julia. Like, Tiffy basically implies that Kiana's a manager because she can't get the job done on her own and challenges her to a match next week. Kiana accepts, but it's otherwise unconfirmed. We get a video of some footage of the Motor City Machine Guns from earlier in the day being recorded for some interviews celebrating their 1-year anniversary in the WWE and basically reminding people that they were WWE Tag Team Champions and still work for the company. Yeah, I'm just kidding. They say they should win the championship again. But Los Garza interrupt, mocking them. They have a back and forth and remind us apparently that Motor City Machine Guns beat them last year for the championship, eventually resulting in a match being set between these two teams. So let's move on to the matches.
Let's do it.
So the women's tag team championship match between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. the current champions versus Zaruka, which is Zarya and Sol Ruka, which I had to make sure I noted properly because I just call her Sol Ruka all the time.
Oh, that's what I thought it was.
I guess not, because that's how they pronounce it on the commentary or whatever.
Learning.
But yeah, commentary makes sure to point out Blake Monroe from NXT in the crowd. Apparently, her and Sol have a match for the NXT Women's North American Championship coming up. So I expect some hijinks during the match. It's my first time seeing Zarya in action, but I can definitely see why her and Sol are effective as a team. Seems like Sol provides the speed and high-flying action, while Zarya provides the muscle and like submission type stuff. I can get why WWE seems to be positioning them for more frequent appearances. Maybe even a permanent bump up the SmackDown. They can't beat Charlotte and Alexa, but they definitely prove that they're more than qualified to compete against women on the main roster. Let's see, what else? Oh, fun moment in the match. Charlotte does the DX suck it to Zarya.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I never thought I'd ever say fun and Charlotte together, but I'm totally fine with being proven wrong as long as it's this entertaining all the time. But at one point, this match spills out of the ring. Sol gets distracted by Blake Monroe, by the barricade, and that gives Charlotte an opening to attack from behind, throwing Sol back into the ring, then making her tap to a figure 8 leg lock. They retain. Next match is the U.S. Championship Open Challenge. With Sami Zayn versus, well, first of all, The Miz. So yeah, remember that idea I mentioned The Miz having when I covered promos and drama? Well, it doesn't work out well because Carmelo Hayes decides to get his revenge on The Miz as soon as he approaches the ring, is about to challenge Sami. But again, we have a backup challenge from Ilya Dragunov. I don't recall ever seeing Dragunov, and it makes sense. And they mentioned he's been out for a year. I think we started watching regularly like last winter.
We
probably just missed them. Yeah.
I think we watched like some PLEs before that, but that was, and I had no idea who he was. So I was like, what? Who's this guy?
But yeah, this match was pretty nuts. Both guys had so many close calls. You could totally tell that Dragunov was really giving everything he had for the match. I think it's fairly safe bet that Sami would have won, but we got Solo coming out and kind of distracting Sami with his presence for a moment, which kind of sucks because, you know, it wasn't even successful at distracting Sami. Dude was still able to counter Dragunov attacking him like right after that, but still Sami gets nailed with a Torpedo Moscow followed by an H-bomb, and Dragunov wins the U.S. Championship.
It's crazy. I was not expecting it.
No, but he doesn't get much of a chance to celebrate because Solo and the MFTs come in ring and attack both of them. That prompts Rey Fenix to run out to help fight off the MFTs. Unfortunately, though, Talatanga gives him a chokeslam for intervening. Solo gets on the mic and tells everyone the MFTs run SmackDown and they'll make them champions again. But then Uncle Howdy interrupts on the Jumbotron with a creepy video of himself. It's really just a setup, though, for the Wyatt Six to creep into the ring and stare down the MFTs and Solo. And they eventually just back away slowly. The Wyatt Six come into the ring. So, you know, more setup for the two of them.
Yes.
Next match, Motor City Machine Guns versus Los Garza. Look, I'm just going to come clean. I don't really care about either of these tag teams, so I didn't really pay attention to this match. Motor City Machine Guns win. Yeah. So obviously, I guess I'm supposed to care, but last time I remember them being on TV, they weren't winning against DIY nor the Street Profits. So I don't know why I should care now when I didn't before. Afterward, we cut to Phyrexium watching the match backstage, saying they have to do something to get the tag team titles, basically. They get interrupted by DIY, who mocks them. It's just basically like a showcase of the tag team division of SmackDown, you know, just kind of reminding us of who's a part of it. I mean, I guess it's great that there's so many tag teams, but I just wish quality was there too for everybody. Next match we get is Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre, or so we thought, because basically right after Jacob Fatu's music hits, they announce his entrance. Cuts backstage to people yelling.
Ugh.
Yeah, Jacob apparently had some backstage equipment thrown on him and trapped him. He had some teeth knocked out. He's like bleeding from the mouth. Drew enters the ring with a huge smile. So our takeaway is supposed to be like he's the one that attacked Jacob and left him there because he calls him Bleeding Comes Fatu. And basically just declares himself number one contender. The ref won't approve it, basically, though, and Nick Aldis comes out and addresses Drew, but Drew says he has nothing to do with what happened to Jacob. Cody comes in all pissed off, and then he says Drew ruined the crowd's chance to see the number one contender match. So, you know, if he really wants a title match, he can have it right here, right now. I thought this match was hilarious because as soon as he drops a mic, Cody just goes after Drew and they beat up on each other around the ring and they get into the crowd. Eventually, they manage to make it back in ring when we finally get the bell to start the match. Also, Cody's taking off his jacket, tie, and vest, but otherwise is wearing a whole ass suit. While Drew wrestles in his leather underwear, it's like the funniest thing, just the contrast between the two.
It was great.
McIntyre eventually gets the upper hand. Match spills out of the ring again, but this time a frustrated Cody grabs his belt and knocks Drew out with it. Cody snaps, clears the announce table, but before he gets a chance to give him a crossroads through it, Nick Aldis and the officials run in and break it up. So, yeah, Nick tries to talk Cody down as he's being held by the officials, and another group of officials lead Drew out of the ring. Cody wriggles free and like runs over and dives at Drew from the top rope, crashes into him and all the officials. So the match ends with the officials dragging Drew backstage as Cody stares him down, all pissed off. I'm just wondering if we're getting another Cody heel turn. If we do, I think this would be the best way to do it, because having him react to very consistent and obvious cheating and backstage attacks is like a reasonable way to get that done. So,
yeah, he's got justice on his side.
That's it for SmackDown. Moving on to Raw from this past Monday. That was in Sacramento. For promos and drama, let's kick that off. And yeah, you remember that video that they kicked off SmackDown with? Well, Raw also kicks off with the same goddamn video. So luckily, I didn't start watching this week's until like an hour in, so I just fast forwarded to Adam Pearce welcoming everybody to Monday Night Raw. He gets interrupted pretty much immediately by the Jumbotron showing a black SUV arriving at the arena. Passenger door opens. A World Heavyweight Championship peeks out, and then you see it's Braun Breakers holding it. And then Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed come out too, and they just follow him to the ring. Adam Pearce does all the talking, basically, once they get to the ring, and says that due to what the Browns did to Seth on Raw last week, he's going to be on the show for, quote, quite a while.
Ooh.
No length of time is provided at all.
Oh, no. It doesn't sound good.
But yeah, they're going to have to strip him of the World Heavyweight Championship. So they're going to have a new champion decided at the upcoming Saturday night's main event in Salt Lake City. And it'll be CM Punk versus the winner of a Battle Royal match that they're going to hold that night. There's a tense moment where Pearce tries to get Braun to give the World Heavyweight Championship belt back. And Braun basically just makes him jump through hoops, asking him to address him respectfully and to say please before he finally hands it back. After Pearce leaves the ring, Heyman cuts a promo basically claiming that everything that's happened since he betrayed Roman at WrestleMania through and including betraying Seth on Raw last week was planned in order to elevate them to a WrestleMania main event status, the Bronze. You know? Okay, whatever. And we get a recap of Dominic Mysterio's match with Penta last week in the related events that followed. With the Judgment Day, it seems like at least the guys are ready to ditch Dom over having to defend their titles tonight, even though Dom claims he didn't say anything. Dom goes on to berate them for not being able to handle AJ and Dragon, saying that he beat AJ twice, so it shouldn't be that hard. But Finn isn't happy to hear this from Dom and tells him he's on his own against Rusev, and then just takes off with JD. Roxanne tries to reassure Dom, but Raquel interrupts and more or less tells her to focus on her own match. It seems like the Judgment Day might be going through a split soon, but you know, who's going to end up on whose side? All I know is Roxanne seems to have Dom's back.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll revisit a potential storyline with her and Dom like they were kind of teasing when, you know, Liv was around. We get a video recap of the problems between the Usos from last week, followed by a backstage moment with them. This not only allows them to bring up that they're both going to be in the Battle Royal tonight, but also to reconcile a little bit. Jay agrees with Jimmy that maybe it was more that he stopped believing in himself, not that he was too busy helping others that caused this losing streak of his. But he also thinks that Roman might be right too. I mean, either way, Jimmy just hopes that Jay gets his head together for the Battle Royal tonight. Man, I was going to be like, who else is in this thing? But then we cut to an announcement for the Battle Royal, and looking at the image, it looks like pretty much everyone active in the men's division, aside from CM Punk, obviously. Even dudes that like have already wrestled or have other matches that night, so it's kind of hilarious. One funny point to point out is, if you guys caught it, Tozawa looks so happy and goofy in the image.
Aww.
Like, I swear I would die if he happened to win this whole thing by some weird chain of events. We get a short video segment with the Kabuki Warriors. Asuka gloats over her and Kairi's beatdown of Io and Rhea last week, and it sounds like they're moving on from that conflict and instead changing focus to the women's tag team titles. Good to hear. Given that the women's tag team division seems to be heating up, you know, I want them to be a part of that stuff. Oh shit, we get a moment where Paul Heyman meets with Adam Pearce. Pearce tells them there's been a, quote, graphic change to the Battle Royal match for tonight. And it'll be of interest to Heyman because it means the Bronze won't be competing in it tonight. So they removed him from the graphic, basically. We think he's just going to make Heyman say please because of what he went through with Breaker earlier. So Heyman's like going through it. But no, it didn't work. They don't get re-added to the match. The best part, I think, of that night follows this, or at least one that I've been interested in seeing what happens. But Becky actually confronts Paul Heyman. Now, Becky doesn't even have to say anything. Like, Heyman goes into panic mode, saying it was the Bronze who decided to act against Seth. Becky ain't buying it. She says she's never trusted Heyman, nor did Seth, and that Seth is going to kill whoever Heyman attaches to in the future. So, yeah, it's going to be apparently so bad that Heyman's going to wish it was him. So,
dang. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if she understands how Heyman works, but I'm glad to hear that we'll hopefully have Seth getting revenge on the Vision, or at least Heyman in the future. So that's cool. Oh man, I thought we were gonna get away with a week without Crazy Bailey. No such luck. Apparently, Adam Pearce feels the same way as I do, and also doesn't want to be around when Bailey is. So when she pops up, when her and Lyra are having a chat backstage, he just takes the opportunity to peace out. What a smart guy. Bailey tells Lyra that she hasn't slept since their victory last week. Wait, what?
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised Lyra doesn't seem more concerned about that instead of Bailey saying she has a surprise for Lyra next week. Well, at least this was a short this week, and I didn't have to deal with them for a very long time. So that was an upside to that.
Yikes.
We get a backstage moment where Heyman addresses Breaker's frustrations over him and Reed getting kept out of the number one contenders match. Dude does a good job, so luckily it doesn't seem like they'll be trying to interfere in the match tonight. But it doesn't seem to change the fact that the Bronze still both want to hurt people. I mean, they even say it, yeah. So moving on to the matches, you get the World Tag Team Championship match between AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Finn Balor and JD McDonough. This was an exciting match, man. Prior to this past year, the last time I really followed WWE closely was during a time when Finn Balor was still main eventing as a solo competitor. So I know he's good. I don't know much about JD's career, but I don't think it's a mistake that these guys were tag team champions. It's just sad that WWE didn't have them defend their titles frequently enough after winning them, or else they wouldn't have to just lose tonight. It's just been dragging on too long. I'm not complaining, though. Losing to AJ and Dragon was good. But yeah, we've been hearing a lot of rumors that AJ's he might retire soon. So it'll be great to hopefully see him regularly until that actually happens, and to see Dragon more consistently as part of a tag team. So yeah, looking forward to the championship run.
Yeah, they're both so great.
Moving on, men's Intercontinental Championship match. Dominic Mysterio versus Rusev. Man, this is like an in-ring extended cut of all the backstage brawling between these two over the past few weeks. Dirty Dom is so hilarious selling Rusev, just punishing him throughout the match, and you just got to give it up for Rusev when he sells the few times that Dom actually like catches him off guard. Dom's about to get away with his belts again after slipping out of an accolade, then out of the ring, but Penta happens to be ringside to stop him. Rusev heads out, throws Dom at Penta. Then Penta confronts Rusev as he's about to re-enter the ring. We catch a glimpse of Dom tucking the bell hammer into his boot again.
Yeah.
Even though like we don't really see him grabbing it as clearly this time, the announcers make sure to clue us in about it. So Dom's about to land a 619 with a hammer in his boot again. And Rusev just catches him as he's swinging around and he's about to make contact. He pulls the hammer out. He's about to hit Dom with it. Then the ref snatches it and turns to have it taken from the ring, which just gives enough time for Dom to give Rusev a swift kick in the nuts. Fouls that out with a 619 and frog splash, leading to a win. Eddie Guerrero would have been proud, man.
I love it.
Moving on. Women's Intercontinental Championship match between Maxine Dupree with Akira Ozawa and Otis versus Becky Lynch. Yo, Maxine Dupree's outfit in this match makes her look like she got a long-ass torso. But seriously, I do kind of like them elevating Maxine within the women's division. There's a lot of mean and or just creepy, dark, crazy, whatever personas in the women's division. So I kind of like Maxine. She's a good change-up. I think as long as they start giving her more dialogue and growing the character, she'll be fine. She wasn't completely fluid, but she did a damn good job for how short this beef was between her and Becky. It hasn't been going on for a long time. Becky did a great job selling. Maxine had so many close calls near the end of the match. Like Becky tries to take her belt and leave. Maxine like drags her ass back into the ring. Unfortunately, Becky ends up smacking Maxine with the belt and winning due to disqualification. And follows up by punishing Maxine, delivering a manhandle slam on her, and then just leaving the ring exhausted.
You hate to see people punching down, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the one thing. It's like, Maxine's so fun. She's doing a great job, but she's not Becky, you know?
Yeah.
Becky, yeah. It really plays into her heel turn, I think.
Moving on, we get Stephanie Vaquer versus Roxanne Perez with Raquel Rodriguez. I initially felt this was a bit of a mismatch, like especially with it being highlighted leading into the match that Vaquer has been, quote, the winningest woman in 2025 in WWE. But this match actually made me change my mind a little bit about both of these competitors because I feel like I have a better sense of what's been bothering me about each of them. The more Vaquer wins and does victory speeches, the more robotic and routine it gets for me. Like, execute some lucha libre moves that are popular with the WWE universe. Make sure to do the devil's kiss at least once and end with a Stephanie Vaquer bomb. It's starting to get boring because we've seen so much of the same. Meanwhile, Perez keeps being involved in matches where Raquel Rodriguez needs to interfere to try to give her a better opportunity to win, or feels the need to get revenge on competition after she loses a match against them. And that I feel just like works against her whole character of being a wrestling prodigy.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know if she really pulled out all the stops tonight or if I'm just getting tired of Vaquer, but I really enjoyed watching Perez in the match tonight.
Yeah.
Do we really need Nikki Bella to bail out Stephanie Vaquer? It doesn't matter. It happens regardless. So, I mean, sure, Roxanne and Raquel beat her down after the loss, but honestly, girl, you were probably better off just recovering and heading back to the locker room on your own. Nikki Bella's like botching ass ain't gonna improve your situation. But I guess at least tonight she didn't mess up, so there's that. I mean, it's weird to go from Wade Barrett reminding everyone that Nikki is Vaquer's good buddy to Nikki being uncomfortably touchy-feeling with Vaquer backstage. It's even weirder that we need to have a short backstage segment with the both of them saying that they have each other's back. It really makes me feel like they're going to try to pay something off with them next week, because lately that's been one of the shitty patterns they've found themselves repeating. Like, have an idea repeated across a pre-recorded video, backstage, and commentary in an unnaturally high frequency in order to pay off storylines faster and move on to the next thing. At best, we get the two of these ladies as a tag team. At worst, they'll have some weird storyline where Nikki turns into a crazy heel that probably sabotages Vaquer's career.
Oh, man.
Finally, we get the Battle Royal for the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event.
Now, I do have to clarify. Is it Battle Royale, like the movie, or Battle Royal? I don't know. I can never figure it out.
All right. Battle Royal is a wrestling thing where they get a bunch of dudes or a bunch of ladies in the ring at the same time, and then they have it out.
Okay. So they're not strapping bombs on their necks.
No. It's not a battle royale where it's a bunch of Japanese teenagers being thrown on an island where only one of them will survive. Kind of thing.
Okay, thank you. I was trying to figure out what the connection was.
No,
and there is none.
There basically isn't, other than throwing a bunch of people in a place, I guess.
Violent.
I guess. But yeah,
thank you.
There's way too many dudes in this match. There's like 16 if I counted correctly.
Party.
Yeah, so I'm really gonna limit my highlights in the match. Yo, you can't be serious. We got 34 minutes left in the program, and we're giving everyone in this match their full entrance music, including an Usos crowd entrance. No. This match doesn't even actually start until there's only 21 minutes left in the show. 21 minutes for 16 dudes. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Oh, man. But CM Punk joins commentary at the announce desk, so even if there aren't any hijinks, we should expect him to stare coldly at whichever man wins this thing, I guess. Because it's what he does. Otis did way too well early on, so I had a feeling it wasn't going to end well for him. He's the first man out. Man, do these dudes hate Alpha Academy? It's like Tozawa gets tossed out by Rusev right after that in a funny moment. Rips his shirt off like Otis. It was kind of funny.
I love those guys.
Yeah. CM Punk reveals in commentary that Dirty Dom is actually nicknamed that because he doesn't wash his gear.
Ew.
The more you know.
Dang.
But speaking of Dirty Dom, he eliminates both Penta and Rusev after they went over the top rope earlier and they were just having a scuffle while both trying to get back in the ring. That's got to suck for both of those guys, given how much Dom gets away with when it comes to the both of them. Coming back from commercial with about 7 minutes left, we're left with who we would probably expect to be left over. Kofi Kingston, the Usos, Dominic Mysterio, LA Knight, and AJ Styles. Punk is a huge pest, but he's hilarious on commentary. He asks what they call the new tag team champions, which are AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, and whether or not they're called AJ Lee.
Oh, yeah.
We get another Yeet Yeah battle.
Yes, they're my
That
favorites.
was amusing. What isn't amusing is that Jay seems indifferent that Jimmy was eliminated along with LA Knight when he decided to knock both of them out of the ring as they were trying to hang on.
Dang.
So it's not a Jay and Dominic in the end, while Jay seems to be occupied with a pissed off Jimmy that just got eliminated. Yelling at him from outside the ring, Dominic takes advantage of the situation, posts up to deliver a drop kick to Jay to set him up with the 619. Unfortunately for Dom, as he runs towards Jay to deliver it, Jay counters and tosses him over the rope for the win. Jimmy continues to yell at Jay from outside the ring while Jay celebrates, clearly not trying to acknowledge that he had anything to do with Jimmy getting eliminated. So I guess, we need to strap in for more problems between those brothers.
Yeah.
Did I call it or what? Jay and CM Punk stare at each other in the ring as the program ends.
Yay.
So that does it for the shows. I just got some brief highlights from AEW Wrestle Dream from the 18th. I have no serious criticisms generally, but I do want to mention that oddly, AEW pay-per-views seem to have seemingly the same issue that I felt I experienced with WWE pay-per-views from the late 90s, which is that it felt like some of the matches went on forever. I mean, it's 4.5 hours, which doesn't seem like much, but in reality, it's about 50% longer than a WWE PLE nowadays in most cases.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. Dang.
Yep. So just going into some quick highlights. My favorite match was the AEW Tag Team title match with Brodito versus Kazuchika Okada and Konosuke Takeshita.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I love Brodito.
Okada and Takeshita sold so well. And man, Bandito was like so good in this match. But I love Brodito, and I always think they're great together because they're like odd couple, that seems to have really good chemistry and they have fun. They do the Macarena. Like, what is there not to like?
I know. I love it.
It's great. I think the craziest match, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree, was the I Quit match with Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley.
Yeah, man.
Sting reappears and gives Darby his bat to kind of even out the odds at one point after basically like all the Death Riders come in to help Moxley. So yeah, that was cool. Those two guys always just get so nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Oh my God.
And I got to bring up my favorite TikTok I saw this week, which is someone asked, does Jon Moxley like to bleed so much because he has period envy?
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking about it.
That's crazy. We got to ask Renee, his wife.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no.
Oh my God. But yeah, funniest moment was actually a tie for me. It was between the Young Bucks entrance that showed all their expenses.
Oh my God. It was so good.
I think the reason why I found that so amusing is I have an accounting background. So it was like, it was extra hilarious to me that they actually listed all these things out. So I just thought it was great.
Gambling.
Yeah, it was between that and then Timeless Toni Storm just sitting on the floor backstage staring blankly after she lost the match.
I love her.
Chris Statlander.
I'm seriously considering dressing up like her for Halloween. We'll see.
Awesome. And then my last highlight was my for real moment of the night, which was Mercedes Moné winning her 11th belt.
Oh my God.
From Mina Shirakawa. Man, she just won like her 10th belt within a few days before the previous win. So yeah, that was nuts. I don't know when that's ever gonna end. If it's
I kind of hope there's like some big downfall just for the storylines that'll bring out, you know. But we'll see.
Yep. So yeah, that does it for all the stuff that happened in the wrestling verse this past week. Upcoming events we got. Next one is on November 1st. It's Saturday night's main event in Salt Lake City, Utah. So that'll be on Peacock.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Let us know what you think. Tell us what you thought of the movies. If you have any suggestions for what we should watch. If you feel, so moved to. We would love it if you would subscribe, give us a rating, thumbs ups. That would be fantastic. And you can follow us on all the social medias. We should watch that on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Thank you so much. And we hope you have a great evening or daytime or time of day. Oh, boy.
Later.
Bye.
In the air, friendships touch. Movies and delights will share so much.
Let's enjoy this side.